In order to become successful in life and really achieve anything and everything that you want, you must avoid the unhappy and the unlucky. I'm telling you right now, man, the truth is you are the result, the prodigy of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that doesn't necessarily have to do with people in the flesh. It could deal with content creators. If you're watching a certain type of content and these certain 5 type of people that you're watching are so negative, they're unhappy, unlucky. It seems like they're always complaining about something happening to them. You need to stop watching that content. It doesn't necessarily have to be your friends. It doesn't necessarily have to be your family. It could be content creators, social media posts, certain channels, certain pages, whatever. Based on my experience, the biggest thing that you have to understand is when you constantly feed your brain with certain type of information that's not serving you, like it's not getting you any better. You're not learning anything from it. You're not even being entertained to a certain aspect from it, but it's just information that's going in one eye, coming out the other, going in one ear, coming out the other. It's going to drastically change your life for the worse, not for the better, but for the worse. I know it's hard, or, it might just sound weird, but you really need to stay positive as possible. If you want to be a successful person and achieve anything and everything you want, you need to stay positive as possible. You should look at it as a gauge, as a little health bar or something like that in the corner of your screen, just like a video game. You start out the day 100% positivity, and through the day, you need to try to preserve that positivity to get to the next day. Because there's so much negativity, bad people who just are Debbie Downers. It's ridiculous to say, but they're just terrible people at the end of the day. They live for nothing. They live for everybody else instead of themselves. They're dream killers. They'll tell you what you can't do before they'll ever tell you what you can do. They'll be the first ones to laugh at you when you fail instead of the first ones to support you when you want to try something new. You got to get away from those people, man. Those people are fucking soul suckers, and they could be anybody and everybody. I'm telling you, friends, family, content creators, they're all over the place. The biggest thing you need to protect in this world is your positive mindset, your optimistic mindset. You need to protect that with all costs. You need to protect that like it's your life, like it's your soul. So when you go around negative people, and usually they come up around the job, usually I had a lot of negative people that I dealt with at my job, and not necessarily when I was in college, but more so at my job. They were just people who were older, 30, 40 years old, even some young cats that were like in their 20s. But a lot of older people, 30, 40, 50 years old, talking about their depressing ass life. Their wife left them, their girlfriend left them, they have a kid and they're not able to see the kid. And every time I ever heard those stories, like not to be, an asshole about it, but every time I heard those stories, I'm like, in my mind, that's your fault. We live the life we live based off the decisions that we make. So if you live a fucked up life, not all the time, but I would say 7 to 8 times out of 10, it's your fault. Sometimes our family puts us in certain situations, but after a certain age point, right around 18, 19, 20, you need to take full control of your own life, regardless of what your parents, friends, your church, your whatever thinks about you. Obviously, you need to be positive, optimistic, and working towards the better instead of going down. I don't want you to be 18, 19 years old and think OnlyFans is the way out, or doing some type of degeneracy is the way out, doing drugs and shit like that. No, but you need to be doing something positive and productive. That's the biggest thing. If you stay positive and productive in your lifetime, you will achieve any and everything that you ever wanted. That's the most important thing, is stay positive and productive. But yeah, man, I would hear these stories from these people, dudes, girls, they would be single moms, single dads, give me their whole life story rundown at the job. If you ever worked in a warehouse before, I'm pretty sure you know this. For some reason, especially when you're the new guy, people just love giving you information about their lives that you did not need to know. Like, I don't give a fuck about you. It's so weird because I think it's a socioeconomic thing based on the location that you live. If you live in certain areas where there's a lot of warehouses, more than likely, it's probably socially, economically down. So like, everybody's probably making minimum wage, maybe just above that. It's not an affluent area where there's fucking skyscrapers and shit. More than likely it's, rural, or it just, I don't know. But anyway, people from this background, and I'm not trying to like be elitist or anything like that, but I'm just, from my observations, I come from these type of backgrounds as well. A lot of people don't know how to communicate. They don't know what to focus their priorities on. Instead of talking about school, benefiting, beneficial things like that, going to college, a degree, working towards the future, working towards something new, they're fixated on just degeneracy and problems. Talking about smoking weed, talking about having a baby mama, or trying to talk to some girl at the job. Just a lot of stupid, idiotic shit. And I see kids, young kids, 18, 19-year-old kids coming into a warehouse, fall into that trap. You can tell they're still wet behind the ears. They don't know shit about anything. They don't even know what they want to do in their life. They may have a girlfriend, they may not. They may have a boyfriend, they may not. And then all of a sudden, they're up in the workplace drama at a fucking warehouse, probably got some girl pregnant, talking to some other girl. Everybody's doing each other. It's just the wildest shit, man. Stay away from the unlucky and the unhappy. That's the number one thing I can tell you right now. Stay away from the unlucky, the unhappy, and make sure that you're positive and productive on a daily basis, and you will be able to achieve anything and everything you ever wanted in this life. It's crazy because one thing that I've noticed, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you have noticed as well, is the fact that, misery loves company. It's a cliche saying that we've heard for years now, but it's actually true. I've never seen a situation where somebody is a positive, productive person in the workplace, or just a friend that I know. They're always trying to speak on positivity and moving forward. I've never seen that in my own life. Maybe that says a lot about me. Maybe that says a lot about the environment that I grew up in, but I've never seen it. I can count on one finger, going to college, the 5 different jobs I've worked, how many people have been actually positive and productive. And it's probably 1 to 2 people. There's probably 1 to 2 people. Well, college is a different story, but I say in the workplace, it's probably 2 people in the 5 jobs, working for over 3 to 4 years in these different jobs. Probably 2 people have ever had a vision, had a dream outside of working. They weren't working just to pay their phone bill and internet. No, they were working to, pay their future. There's probably one person I knew. He wanted to become a jeweler. And he knew all about gold, the carat weight, this and that, how it's mixed, all this. And he wanted to start his own little gold jewelry business and become a jeweler. That's probably the only, and he wasn't going to college. He wasn't doing anything like that. He just got so invested into gold and jewelry, specifically, that's what he wanted to do. Everybody else was just failed dreams. Everybody else that I worked with, all my coworkers, they would just tell me about certain situations where they were going to school, then they dropped out. Or I remember I had a manager where he said he graduated from Cal State LA with a degree in like cybersecurity or something like that. And then he ended up just working at Amazon or UPS as a manager. It's crazy, man. You hear a lot of stories like that. And I don't blame the environment. I blame the person. I know that may be ridiculous to some people, but you got to be honest with yourselves. There's third world countries out here where people are still becoming millionaires. They have that drive. They have that dog in them. They're just built different. It may be hard based on your environment, but you need to seek out the people with purpose and drive. Like, you need to find those people as fast as possible. And especially if you're going to college, if you're going to university, a JV college, a vocational school, something like welding or nursing school or something like that, any type of school where people are trying to better themselves, find the people who are super driven. Some of them might be kind of weird. I'm not going to lie. All my years of schooling, and I can tell you right now, there's a lot of weird people. They're just socially awkward, introverted, and that's fine. It is what it is. We're not all like that. We're not all introverted. We're not all extroverted. But find the people who are driven. Find the people who have a vision, because they will help you get to that next level. You guys will help each other get to that next level. Watch out. Some of these people have big egos, but besides that, find the people who are driven. Make them your business partner. Make them your friend, your family friend that you bring around all the time for Thanksgiving and Christmas or whatever. Find those people, because the more and more that you surround yourself with people who actually have a vision, who actually have a goal, and you guys can big each other up and help each other, the better off your life will be overall. I'm not saying that you need a person, you need friends, you need outside people, but I can tell you right now, you can drive and get a lot of inspiration from these people. Their work ethic, what they do on a daily basis, their daily routine, just overall their vision. You can hear their vision and what they want from themselves, from their life, their future. And you could be like, damn, like I never even thought of it like that. You inspired me to have more of a vision. You inspired me to be more driven. You motivated me to get to the next level now, to go to the gym every day, to get in shape, or whatever the case may be. To have a friend who is truly driven, or even shit, a family member like a brother or a sister, that shit is important and that is needed. Where I come from, there's not a lot of that. I can't say that there is. You know, everybody is bare bones basic, and that's fine. You know, everybody's just working a regular job, $25 an hour, $20 an hour, minimum wage, whatever. And, you know, they're fine with that life. And I actually had a friend in high school where he said that. He said all he wanted was just to have a house that he can sit in the front yard and drink beer. And I was like, damn, like, you know, that's cool and all, but that's not my vision. That's not my dream. I'm not saying I have to have Lambos and Bugattis and live in a $5 million mansion, but at the same time, I want something more than that. I want more focus in my life. I want a plan. You know, I don't want to just go through life where things just happen to me and I'm along the ride. You know, I'm co-pilot to my own life. I don't want that. I see that with a lot of people. You can tell based on the fact that certain life events happen where they're not planned. So when people have kids too young, in my opinion, if you're under the age of 21 having a kid, you're not ready. In my opinion, if you have a relationship under the age of 21, that's a serious relationship, you're not ready. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. You truly cannot embody the human experience with little to low experience. Now, obviously, if you're, you know, the type of person who travels a lot, learns a lot about agriculture, cultures in general, the way people move around and certain things, like if you're advanced for your time and you're like 18, 19 studying this stuff and you really got your psychology down right and you know yourself, you have a lot of self-awareness, then by all means, do what you want. But a lot of people, 18, 19, 20 years old, making permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. I see it all the time. Especially when I was in the workplace. You got people who are 18, 19 years old getting girls pregnant and then they don't even have a car, or they are barely making minimum wage at this job and they think they're able to support a family. They got to live at their parents' house while having a kid in between. Just, you know, just no family structure or no house training or no, you know, they don't have any structure of what they want their lives to be. And that's what I'm saying. You got to make sure that you're on the right path, that you have a vision for yourself. And for some people, it takes longer than others. You know, it doesn't always come overnight for some people. Some people, it takes 30, 40, 50 years of life experience to really know what you want. And those type of people are the people that have midlife crisis. You know, it is what it is. We're all different. We all experience things at our own time frame and our own rate. So don't be upset or jealous or envious of people who have success happen earlier in life than those who don't. You know, it is what it is. You know, some people, it takes years to get it, and that's fine, based off their circumstances, their work ethic, or just knowing themselves and knowing what they can do and put themselves and apply themselves. It is what it is. Just make sure that you're always moving forward. That's the biggest thing I can say. Progress is the most important thing, even if it's baby steps, as long as you're doing better than yesterday. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And even still, even if you're putting the same effort as you did yesterday, as long as it's moving you to a positive place. And make sure you cut out the unhappy and the unlucky. Because more than likely, it's their fault that they're in the situation that they're in. So just make sure that you're not spending and wasting your time with people who don't fucking matter. Just because they're a coworker, just because you went to school with these people, don't mean that they're meant to stay in your life forever. It doesn't mean that they're, you know, supposed to be meaningful in your life at all. They're just a fucking coworker. It's just a colleague or a peer at school. That's it. But anyway, I thank you guys for watching the video, especially if you got down to this last part. If you like the videos, make sure you leave a like so I know to keep going. Other than that, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.